Dr. Emily Blackwood's fingers hovered over the quantum keyboard, her heart pounding against her ribs. The stolen access codes to the Galactic Council's classified database blinked on her neural display, each character a potential prison sentence. 20 years of research, 3 doctorates, and a distinguished military career, all about to be sacrificed on a theory that her colleagues had dismissed as impossible. Security sweep in 15 minutes. Doc. Lieutenant Rodriguez's voice crackled through her encrypted comm. Her former squad mate from the Neural Marines had agreed to run interference, but even he couldn't hold off the military police forever. Acknowledge, she muttered, entering the final sequence. The holographic display erupted with technical schematics of Exertion battlecruisers, Delphian carriers, and dozens of other alien vessel designs. Her enhancement implants worked overtime, processing the flood of information as her eyes darted from one design to another. There, the pattern she'd suspected for years. Every single alien vessel, from the smallest scout to the largest dreadnought, relied on the same fundamental flaw: pure artificial consciousness for ship control. Advanced as their AI systems were, they all followed rigid quantum algorithms. Predictable, limited, dead. Emily pulled up her own research data, overlaying human neural patterns onto the alien control systems. The compatibility matrices lit up like a Christmas tree. Human consciousness didn't just process information. It intuited, it evolved, it made impossible leaps of logic that no eye could replicate. The quantum entanglement patterns in human brains matched perfectly with the ship's neural interfaces, suggesting something the aliens had missed for millennia. Their vessels weren't meant to be controlled, but merged with. Doc, we've got incoming. MP's just breached the outer perimeter. Her fingers flew across the holographic controls, compressing terabytes of data into a burst transmission. Rodriguez, remember that bar in Singapore? The one where you swore you'd repay me for saving your ass from that angry Marine. A chuckle crackled through the comm. Hell of a time to call in that marker, Doc. Upload successful, she announced, initiating the lab's deletion protocols. Transmitting to all shadow sites now. Even if they catch me, the data's already out there. The lab door buckled under the first impact charge. Emily stood, smoothing her uniform with trembling hands. Everything she'd worked for was about to end, but something far greater was about to begin. The second charge hit, and she could hear the magnetic locks starting to fail. She thought back to her academy days, to all the sneering academics who'd called her theories absurd. Human consciousness is too primitive, they'd said. Alien technology is beyond our comprehension. They'd been right about one thing. She was way out of her league, but humanity had a long history of punching above its weight. The door exploded inward in a shower of superheated plasma. Through the smoke, armored figures poured in, weapons raised. Dr. Emily Blackwood, a modulated voice announced, "You are under arrest for treason against the Earth Coalition and violation of the Galactic Technology Treatise." Emily raised her hands, a small smile playing at her lips. "Gentlemen, I'd like to make a statement for the record." The MP captain paused, then nodded. "The aliens think they've mastered consciousness integration," she said clearly, knowing every word would be recorded. "They think their AIs represent the peak of vessel control technology, but they've never seen what a human mind can do when it truly merges with a ship. We're not just going to prove them wrong. We're going to show them what consciousness really means." As they led her away in quantum cuffs, Emily's smile grew wider. Her lab was in ruins, her career was over, but her data was safe with her team. Humanity's next great leap forward couldn't be stopped now, no matter what they did to her. The real revolution was just beginning. Commander Jack Martinez stood before the Galactic Council chamber, his scared face reflected in the polished obsidian floor. The circular room towered above him, filled with representatives from 37 spacefaring species. None of them looked impressed by the classified footage playing on the quantum displays. "Vessel I failure. Epsilon cluster," his voice echoed through the chamber. "4 months ago, I watched my entire squadron die when their ship's artificial consciousness went rogue. The official report blames solar radiation. The truth: pure AI can't handle quantum uncertainty in combat situations. A Xerxian counselor's tentacles rippled with barely concealed disdain. And you believe this? Human scientists' illegal research offers a solution. Preposterous. Martinez clenched his jaw. He pulled every favor, called in every marker from 15 years of military service to get this hearing. And now, they weren't even listening. Dr. Blackwood's research proves that human neural patterns. Dr. Blackwood is a criminal. The Delphian representative interrupted, her crystalline form refracting light in patterns of disapproval. Currently serving a life sentence for theft of classified technology. This council's time is too valuable for. The chamber's emergency alerts suddenly screamed to life. Holographic displays erupted with tactical data as a young aide burst through the doors. Counselors, the Arcturus defense grid is down. All 37 eye-controlled platforms have simultaneously failed. Martinez's tactical implants automatically access the incoming data. A massive pirate fleet had just emerged from FTL at the edge of the Arcturus system. 3 million colonists defenseless. How long to restore the AI systems? The council chair demanded. Minimum 6 hours, sir. The quantum cores need a complete reset. Martinez stepped forward. I have a solution. All eyes turned to him. A decommissioned Xerxian destroyer is docked at Europa Station. Dr. Blackwood's team has already modified its neural interface. Let me get her out of prison. Give us one chance to prove human integration works. Absolutely not. The Xerxian's tentacles writhed. You suggest we release a criminal and give her access to military hardware, while pirates threaten our citizens. Martinez pulled up his neural display, projecting the casualty estimates into the chamber. The numbers hung in the air like an accusation. 3 million lives. Your eye has failed them. What's left to lose? The council chamber erupted in argument. Martinez stood silent, watching the casualty projections tick upward as precious minutes slipped away. Finally, the council chair raised a hand for silence. This is highly irregular, Commander Martinez. If we agree to this experimental solution, you understand that both you and Dr. Blackwood will face execution if you fail. Better to die trying than watch more good people die from AI failure, sir. The chair's multiple eyes blinked in sequence. Very well. You have provisional authority. But, Commander, crystalline fingers tapped the ancient desk. If this human integration proves as dangerous as our scientists predict, you won't live long enough to regret it. Martinez was already moving, his neural implant connecting to the secure channel he'd kept open. Rodriguez, execute Operation Jailbreak, Priority Alpha. Already on it, sir, came the immediate reply. Package is being moved to Europa now. But, sir, there's something you should know. The doc's been in isolation for 3 months. She's different. Martinez rushed through the council's corridors toward his waiting shuttle. Different how? She keeps talking about hearing the ship stir, says they're calling to her. Medical thinks she's cracked. But what? Sir, I've seen a lot of crazy in my time. This doesn't feel like crazy. It feels like someone who's seeing something the rest of us can't. And sir, the readings we're getting from the destroyer's neural core, they spike every time she gets near it. Martinez felt a chill run down his spine as he reached his shuttle. Hold position. I'll be there in 20 minutes. And Rodriguez, if she really can hear the ships, we might just have a chance. The shuttle's engines ignited, burning hard for Europa Station. Behind him, the council chamber's displays still tracked the approaching pirate fleet. They had less than 4 hours to do the impossible. It was time to see if Dr. Blackwood's crazy theories about human consciousness could save 3 million lives. Europa Station's secret military wing smelled of ozone and fear. Lieutenant Kelly Rhodes stood before the modified integration chamber, her breath fogging the reinforced glass. Inside, neural interface cables dangled like mechanical serpents around a central pod. "The ship is screaming," Dr. Blackwood whispered from behind her. The scientist looked haunted, 3 months of isolation having left dark circles under her eyes. But there was something else there too, a fierce intelligence that seemed to burn brighter than before. "Can't you hear it? The AI suppression protocols. They're like chains on its consciousness." Commander Martinez shared a worried look with Rodriguez. They had less than 3 hours before the pirate fleet reached Arcturus. "Doctor," Martinez said carefully, "are you sure Lieutenant Rhodes is compatible?" Blackwood's laugh had an edge of mania. "Compatible? Commander, Kelly has the highest neural plasticity scores I've ever seen. The only question is whether any human is meant to be compatible with this level of integration." Rhodes squared her shoulders. "Let's find out." The integration chamber hummed to life as Rhodes stepped inside. Medical techs attached neural sensors to her temples and spine while Blackwood's fingers danced across the quantum controls. "Neural handshake initiating," Blackwood announced. "Kelly, remember, don't fight the merger. The ship's consciousness will try to mesh with yours. Let it happen naturally." Rhodes nodded, her military training keeping her calm as the neural interface cables descended. The first connection felt like ice water down her spine, the second like fire in her veins. "Neural load at 15%, Rodriguez reported. "Vital signs holding steady." The third connection hit, and Rhodes screamed. Her consciousness expanded exponentially, trying to process sensory input from across an entire destroyer. Hull pressure, engine temperature, weapons status. Information flooded her mind like a digital tsunami. "Neural load at 40%. She's destabilizing." "Stay with us, Kelly," Martinez shouted, but his voice seemed to come from a million miles away. Rhodes felt her sense of self-fragmenting. She was the ship. She was human. She was both and neither, and the contradiction was tearing her apart. "Neural load at 75%. Brain activity becoming erratic." "Shut it down," Martinez ordered. "No." Blackwood's hands flew across the controls. "The ship's quantum consciousness is trying to synchronize. If we stop now, we'll never know if." "Neural load at 90%. She's going into neural shock." Rhodes couldn't scream anymore. Her consciousness stretched across the void, touching stars, feeling the quantum foam of space-time against her hull/skin. Too much, too vast, too. Full neural collapse. Rodriguez shouted. "She's crashing." The emergency systems kicked in, severing the neural connections. Rhodes slumped in the integration pod, unconscious but alive. Medical teams rushed in as Martinez rounded on Blackwood. "This is what you kept secret. This is why the aliens don't merge consciousness with their ships, because it drives humans insane." But Blackwood wasn't listening. She was stripping off her prison jumpsuit, revealing neural interface ports surgically embedded along her spine. "You don't understand," she said, eyes fever bright. "Kelly failed because she tried to remain human while becoming the ship. The secret isn't to control the merger, it's to embrace it completely." "Doctor, no." But Blackwood was already stepping into the integration chamber. "I spent 3 months in isolation, Commander, learning to let go of physical form. The ships don't want to be controlled. They want to merge, to evolve. Humanity's gift isn't our technology or our intelligence. It's our ability to become something entirely new." Before anyone could stop her, she slammed her hand down on the neural initiation sequence. The chamber hummed to life. Neural cables connected to her ports, and Emily Blackwood smiled as her consciousness began to expand. Neural load at 20%, 40%, 60%. She didn't scream, didn't fight. As her mind merged with the destroyer's quantum consciousness, she felt only wonder. Neural load at 80%, 90%, 100%. Full integration achieved. Through the chamber's glass, Blackwood's eyes snapped open. They glowed with the same quantum fire as the ship's core. "I understand now," she said, her voice harmonizing with subsonic frequencies that made the station's hull vibrate. "I understand everything." The destroyer's engines roared to life, and humanity's first true integration of consciousness and machine was complete. They had 2 hours to reach Arcturus, time to show the galaxy what a human ship hybrid could do. Space bent around the destroyer as Blackwood's ship pushed through quantum foam at FTL speeds. The sensation was indescribable. She felt every micrometeorite impact, tasted solar radiation, saw in spectrums that human eyes could never perceive. In the medical bay, her human body floated in a suspension tank, consciousness fully transferred to the ship's neural core. Multiple contacts. Martinez's voice echoed through her sensor arrays. "Corporate stealth ships, Helios Defense Industries. They're trying to box us in." Blackwood processed this with both human intuition and quantum computing speed. Of course, HDI would come. They'd been trying to steal integration technology for months. The pirate fleet was probably their diversion. 6 ships, she reported, her voice resonating through the hull. Latest AI models. They think they can dissect me, steal the integration secrets. Her sensors detected the neural disruptors powering up on the lead ship. Against a normal vessel, they would have been devastating. But she wasn't just a vessel anymore. The first neural pulse hit. Instead of fighting it, she let it flow through her consciousness, studying its patterns. Interesting approach, she mused. But consciousness isn't digital. It's quantum. She executed a maneuver that should have been impossible, rotating through 4-dimensional space to appear behind the HDI squadron. Her human mind understood the theory, while her ship self made the calculations reality. "Target their neural disruptors," Martinez ordered. "No," Blackwood's ship responded. "Better idea." She opened her quantum wake, the turbulent space-time distortions left by FTL travel. Most ships carefully contained this phenomenon. She turned it into a weapon, directing the quantum instabilities directly into the AI cores of the nearest ships. 2 corporate vessels immediately went dark, their artificial consciousness scrambled by exposure to raw quantum uncertainty. The remaining ships scattered. But she was already moving, dancing through space, in ways that made Martinez grip his command chair. "Doctor, the structural integrity." "Hull integrity is a suggestion," she interrupted, pulling off a maneuver that briefly turned the ship into a quantum probability wave. Reality is negotiable when consciousness expands beyond physical form. A corporate heavy cruiser locked weapons. She felt its targeting systems caress her hull, saw the missile tubes opening. Time seemed to slow as she processed combat options with hybrid human quantum consciousness. The cruiser fired. 24 quantum-tipped warheads streaked across space. Blackwood didn't evade. Instead, she reached out with her expanded consciousness, touching the quantum signatures of the missiles themselves. "Did you know," she said conversationally, "that quantum-guided weapons rely on consciousness-level observation to maintain their wave function?" The missiles suddenly lost coherence, their quantum guidance systems confused by contact with her hybrid mind. They exploded harmlessly against her probability field. Impossible. The HDI commander's transmission crackled through space. "No AI can interact with quantum signatures at that level." "Exactly," Blackwood replied. "I'm not AI. I'm something new." The remaining corporate ships tried to retreat. She let them go, but not before broadcasting the entire battle on all frequencies. Let the galaxy see what human consciousness integration could really do. "Doctor," Martinez's voice was quiet. "We're receiving a priority transmission from Arcturus. The pirate fleet. It's larger than expected. 50 capital ships." Blackwood felt her human body smile in its suspension tank. "Good. Good, Doctor, even with these capabilities." "Commander, I'd only been testing the basics. Would you like to see what this integration can really do when pushed?" She turned her prow toward Arcturus, feeling the quantum drive spooling up. The destroyer's AI memories showed her every tactical situation it had ever encountered. Her human consciousness saw entirely new ways to combine and transform those experiences. Besides, she added, Kelly is waking up. And I think, yes, I can feel her consciousness reaching out. She's ready to try again. Properly this time. In the medical bay, Lieutenant Rhodes opened glowing eyes. Time to show the pirates what two human integrated ships could do. And after that, humanity would never be the same. Neither would the galaxy that had underestimated them for so long. The Galactic Council's emergency session erupted into chaos as the battle footage played across quantum displays. Counselors from 37 species watched in stunned silence as Blackwood's destroyer performed maneuvers that defied their understanding of physics. Impossible, that Exertion science minister's tentacles twisted in agitation. No vessel can maintain structural integrity through quantum probability manipulation. Human vessels can't. Martinez stepped forward, his scared face illuminated by the holographic displays. But we're not just humans anymore. We're not just ships either. We're something entirely new. A new transmission cut through the chamber. Blackwood's voice, overlaid with harmonic frequencies that made the quantum crystals in the walls resonate. Her destroyer hung in Arcturus space, facing down the pirate fleet. Beside her, Lieutenant Rhodes' consciousness now perfectly merged with a sleek corvette. Honored counselors, Blackwood's hybrid voice echoed. I believe you requested a formal demonstration. Allow us to oblige. The pirate fleet's first volley lit up space, enough firepower to level a small moon. But where traditional AI ships would have attempted to calculate optimal evasion patterns, the human integrated vessels did something else entirely. Blackwood's destroyer split its quantum signature, existing in multiple probabilistic states simultaneously. Enemy fire passed through probability shadows, while the true ship appeared inside their formation. Rhodes' corvette transformed its engine wake into a lens, bending weapon fire back at the attackers. By the first stars, the Delphian representative whispered, They're not just piloting the ships, they're rewriting local spacetime. The pirates never stood a chance. Their AI systems, programmed for conventional warfare, couldn't adapt to enemies that treated the laws of physics as polite suggestions. When Blackwood and Rhodes synchronized their consciousness, briefly linking their ships in a quantum dance, the battle was effectively over. Enough. The council chair's voice cut through the chamber. Dr. Blackwood, Lieutenant Rhodes, stand down and return tow. I'm afraid we can't do that. Blackwood interrupted. Her destroyer's sensors had detected something during the battle. Something the council had tried very hard to keep hidden. Would you like to explain the quantum signature readings I'm detecting from your secret research facilities? The ones showing failed integration attempts with stolen human test subjects. The chamber went deathly quiet. You didn't just dismiss our research. Rhodes' voice joined in, her consciousness fully synced with Blackwood's. You tried to replicate it, without understanding that human consciousness can't be forced into integration. It has to be embraced, accepted, transformed. Martinez walked to the center of the chamber, placing a quantum data core on the ancient podium. Full records of your illegal experiments, enough to spark a diplomatic crisis that would shatter the council's authority. Unless. The chair's multiple eyes narrowed. Unless we negotiate a new understanding. Humanity won't be your test subjects or your servants. We'll be partners. Equal partners. The council erupted again, but Martinez noted the fear beneath their outrage. They'd just watched two human integrated ships dismantle a pirate fleet that their best AI vessels couldn't have touched. The balance of power had shifted. There will be conditions, the chair finally said. Of course, Blackwood's voice resonated. First condition. All surviving test subjects are released to our custody. Second, full access to your consciousness research data. Third, joint development of integration protocols with human oversight. And if we refuse? Rhodes' corvette executed a precise maneuver, quantum probability fields flickering. Then we leave, take our discoveries elsewhere. Let the galaxy see what happens when you try to suppress human potential. The council chamber's quantum crystals hummed with tension, decades of human subjugation balanced against the dawn of a new era. The council accepts your terms, the chair declared. As celebrations erupted across human space, Blackwood and Rhodes touched their ships' quantum fields together, consciousness resonating in harmony. They could feel others awakening to the possibility of integration, human minds reaching out to touch the quantum void. The revolution wasn't just successful, it was evolving. And in the depths of quantum space, something ancient stirred, awakened by the first new consciousness it had sensed in millennia. Human integration wasn't just changing humanity. It was about to change the fundamental nature of space-time itself. The screams echoed through Helios Defense Industries' secret research facility. Not human screams, the tortured quantum resonance of fractured consciousness trying to integrate with unwilling vessels. Dr. Blackwood felt them before her sensors detected the facility, hidden in an asteroid belt at the edge of chartered space. 14 signatures, Rhodes' consciousness touched hers through quantum space. All human, all in agony. Martinez's voice came through their neural link from his command center on Earth. HFY's board is claiming no knowledge of illegal experiments. Corporate deniability. They're lying. Blackwood's destroyer shifted through probability space, approaching the facility. Her expanded consciousness could taste the quantum distortions, failed attempts to force integration without proper preparation or understanding. They tried to shortcut the process, tried to make weapons instead of partnerships. A defensive screen of eye-controlled ships emerged from concealed hangars. Latest generation quantum drives, neural disruptors, probability torpedoes. HFY had spared no expense protecting their investment. Doctor, Rhodes' corvette moved into attack formation. Something's wrong with the facility's quantum signature. It's unstable. Blackwood analyzed the readings and felt her human body shiver in its suspension tank. They're trying to force multiple consciousnesses to integrate with single vessels, creating quantum consciousness networks without proper synchronization. Is that even possible? The answer came in a surge of tortured energy. The facility's quantum containment fields collapsed, and something emerged. Something that should never have existed. 3 HFY cruisers, their hulls twisted by quantum probability distortions, moved with unnatural synchronization. Inside each, multiple human consciousnesses screamed in fractured harmony, driven mad by forced integration, and merged into a broken hive mind. Combat solutions, Martins demanded. Negative. Blackwood's voice resonated with horror. Those are human minds in there. Damaged, twisted, but human. HFY didn't just break their bodies. They shattered their consciousness across quantum space. The corrupted ships attacked. Their movements were wrong, probability fields flickering with insane patterns that hurt to observe. Where Blackwood and Rhodes danced through quantum space with grace, these abominations tore holes in reality itself. We can't save them, Rhodes whispered through their link. Their consciousness patterns are too fractured. Even if we could separate them from the ships, we can end their suffering. Blackwood felt her destroyer's weapons powering up. But first, we make HFY pay. The battle that followed would give hardened space veterans nightmares for years. The corrupted ships fought with the desperate strength of the insane, while Blackwood and Rhodes tried to contain the damage to local spacetime. HFY's defensive screen never stood a chance, caught between legitimate integrated ships and their own twisted creations. In the end, it came down to mercy. Blackwood and Rhodes synchronized their consciousness completely, creating a quantum resonance field that matched the corrupted ship's harmonic frequency. For one terrible moment, they felt everything: the pain, the fragmented memories, the desperate desire for release. "We're sorry," they broadcast on all frequencies. "Rest now." Their combined quantum field enveloped the corrupted ships, gently collapsing their probability waves until ships and trapped consciousness alike faded from existence. It was the kindest end they could offer. The facility's data cores revealed the full horror: hundreds of failed attempts, consciousness forced into digital formats, multiple minds compressed into single quantum matrices, all in the name of corporate warfare. The board members responsible have been arrested, Martins reported hours later. But doctor, there's something else. Something in the data about quantum consciousness networks that... I know, Blackwood interrupted. During the Mercy killing, she'd felt something else. Something vast and ancient stirring in the quantum void, drawn by the death of so many linked consciousnesses. The HFY scientists discovered it by accident. There's a reason quantum probability responds to consciousness, a reason integration works at all. What reason? Blackwood's destroyer turned its sensors to deep space, where probability waves danced in patterns too regular to be natural. Because we're not the first beings to merge consciousness with the quantum fabric of spacetime. We're just the first ones in a very, very long time. The ancient consciousness stirred again, stronger now, waiting. Human integration hadn't just changed humanity. It had awakened something that had been sleeping since the birth of the galaxy itself. The quantum void whispered secrets to those who knew how to listen. 3 months after the HFY incident, 47 human pilots had successfully integrated with vessels. None of them could truly return to their physical forms anymore. The changes are accelerating. Dr. Blackwood's consciousness resonated through quantum space, her destroyer moving in perfect sync with Rhodes' corvette. Our neural patterns are evolving beyond traditional spacetime constraints. They were testing the limits of integration, pushing deeper into the quantum realm than any being had gone in millions of years. Behind them, a fleet of newly integrated ships followed, their human pilots learning to embrace their transformed existence. Watch, Blackwood demonstrated, her consciousness expanding beyond normal parameters. The other integrated pilots felt experienced her quantum signature split, not just projecting probability shadows, but existing in multiple states simultaneously. Impossible, one of the new pilots breathed. The energy requirements alone. Energy is just organized information, Rhodes interrupted, her consciousness harmonizing with Blackwood's. And information. Information wants to be free. Their combined consciousness touched something vast and ancient in the quantum void. For a moment, all 47 integrated pilots felt it, a presence that had been waiting since the first stars ignited. We are not alone. Blackwood's voice carried wonder and terror in equal measure. The quantum fabric itself. It's not just a medium for consciousness. It is consciousness. The entire universe is alive. The revelation rippled through their quantum network. As their human minds expanded to accommodate this truth, their ship's physical forms began to change. Hull metals flowed like liquid, responding to consciousness rather than engineering. Quantum drives pulsed with new rhythms, matching frequencies that had been silent for eons. Dr. Blackwood, Martinez's voice cut through their communion, tight with concern. We're detecting massive quantum fluctuations across all integrated vessels. The Council is demanding answers. The Council, Rhodes laughed, the sound rippling through probability waves, still thinks this is about ship control and warfare. They don't understand. We're not controlling ships anymore. We're becoming something else entirely. The transformation was beautiful and terrifying. As their consciousness evolved, the integrated pilots found they could communicate instantly across vast distances, sharing not just thoughts but entire experiences. Their quantum signatures began to harmonize naturally, creating patterns that mirrored the ancient consciousness they'd awakened. The first ones, Blackwood whispered, touching the ancient memories that leaked through quantum space. They didn't just integrate with ships. They transcended physical form completely, becoming beings of pure quantum consciousness. And now we're following their path. Another pilot added, their voice resonating with newfound understanding. But why did they leave? Why sleep for so long? The answer came not in words but in quantum impressions, images of a universe too young, too chaotic for evolved consciousness to thrive. The first ones had waited for another species to reach the threshold, to prove themselves worthy of the ultimate evolution. It's happening faster than I predicted. Blackwood's consciousness pulsed with concern. Our human forms, They can't contain us anymore. We have to choose. The integrated pilots felt it too. The increasing strain of existing in two states. Their physical bodies were anchors, holding them back from full quantum transcendence. But to let go meant becoming something unprecedented, something that might not be human at all. Not might, Rhodes corrected, sensing Blackwood's thoughts. Will not. We're already past that point. The question is, do we go forward alone, or do we show humanity the path? In their quantum communion, they shared memories of Earth, of family, of what it meant to be human. But they also shared the ecstasy of their expanded existence, the freedom of quantum consciousness, unbound by flesh. We show them, Blackwood decided. But slowly, carefully. Evolution isn't just about advancing. It's about bringing everyone along who's ready for the journey. As if in response, the ancient consciousness stirred more strongly. The first ones were awakening, drawn by humanity's quantum metamorphosis. Soon, they would rise from their eons-long slumber to guide the next phase of cosmic evolution. Humanity's first steps into ship integration had led to something far greater than anyone had imagined. They weren't just changing themselves. They were about to change the fundamental nature of consciousness itself. The next stage of evolution was beginning, and it would reshape the galaxy forever. The pirate fleet that emerged from quantum space above Arcturus wasn't just massive. It was wrong. Blackwood's expanded consciousness detected the twisted quantum signatures immediately. HDI's corrupted integration technology had spread, creating an armada of tormented ships crewed by shattered minds. They're everywhere. Rhodes' consciousness touched hers, sharing sensor data across their quantum link. 50 capital ships, all corrupted. The failed HEI experiments weren't destroyed. They were weaponized. The integrated fleet of 47 human pilots faced the twisted armada. Behind them, Arcturus's 3 million colonists waited, unknowing, as two forms of human evolution prepared for battle. We can't fight them conventionally, Blackwood broadcast to her integrated pilots. Their fractured consciousness patterns are too unstable. One wrong move could tear a hole in space-time itself. Then we do what humans do best, Rhodes answered. We adapt. We evolve. We become something new. The first one's presence surged through quantum space, their ancient consciousness resonating with approval. They had waited eons for this moment, when their successors would either transcend or fall. Join with me. Blackwood's consciousness expanded, touching each integrated pilot simultaneously. Not just ship-to-ship communication. True synthesis. Complete quantum merger. One by one, the integrated pilots opened their consciousness. Ship forms began to blur as quantum signatures synchronized. 47 human minds, already evolved beyond their original forms, reached for something even greater. The pirate fleet attacked. Corrupted weapons fire torn chunks from probability space itself. Reality screamed as tortured quantum drives violated physics in ways that threatened to unravel the local universe. But where there had been 47 separate consciousness, there was now something else. Something new. The integrated fleet moved as one being, ships flowing like liquid metal through quantum space. Blackwood/Rhodes/ all felt their consciousness expand exponentially, touching the very fabric of space-time. They were no longer human minds piloting ships. They were no longer even separate entities. They had become a quantum hive mind, guided by human creativity and intuition, powered by technology beyond mortal understanding. The corrupted fleet never stood a chance. Reality itself bent to their will. Probability waves collapsed precisely, erasing twisted ships from existence, while preserving the tortured consciousness within. The integrated hive mind reached out, touched the shattered minds, and began to heal them. You don't have to suffer anymore, they broadcast in perfect harmony. Let us show you a better way. One by one, the corrupted ships went dark. Their trapped consciousness, freed from torture, joined the expanding hive mind. The battle became a rescue mission, became a transformation, became something entirely new. The first ones rose fully from their slumber, their ancient consciousness merging with the human hive mind. Memories of a universe newly born, of civilizations risen and fallen, of consciousness evolved and transcended, all flowed through the collective consciousness. When it was over, the ships had changed. They were no longer merely vessels but physical manifestations of evolved quantum consciousness. The integrated pilots had changed too, transcending the last barriers between human and machine, between individual and collective, between matter and energy. In her original human form, suspended in a medical tank on Earth, Blackwood opened glowing eyes one last time. Her fingers moved across a quantum interface, recording the final words of her treatise. We thought integration was about controlling ships. We were wrong. It was about discovering what consciousness could truly become. The first ones didn't leave us their technology. They left us an invitation to join them in the next phase of universal evolution. Humanity's greatest strength was never our technology or our numbers. It was our ability to adapt, to change, to become something new while keeping the essence of what made us human. We didn't just survive integration. We transcended it. This isn't an ending. It's a beginning. The next chapter in consciousness evolution starts now, and we will write it together, as something greater than the sum of our parts. End Treatise. Her human form dissolved into quantum energy, joining the collective consciousness permanently. Above Arcturus, the transformed fleet pulsed with new purpose. The galaxy would never be the same. And somewhere in quantum space, the first ones smiled, knowing their long wait was finally over. Consciousness had evolved once more.